Hey, today we're talking about the distributive property, which is very important for when you go into pre-algebra and algebra. So it's better we get a good understanding of it now. So if you need to stop the video or slow it down, please do so. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will respond as quickly as I can. One important thing about the distributive property is know what it looks like. You need to know what to see and know when to do it. So here's an example of when to do the distributive property. So we know that if I have a number right by a set of parentheses like I do here, that means to multiply. So I'm actually going to do a lot of multiplication here. The past few days we've talked about simplifying expressions and we learned that we cannot add and subtract in like terms. So for example, if I look at this expression, I cannot say 2x plus 6 is 8x because they are not like terms. However, we can multiply and divide unlike terms. So multiplying and dividing, it's fair game. And subtracting, not so much. So what we are going to do is, well, like I said, we need to know what it looks like. So we have this number right outside of parentheses. We have a variable on the inside and a constant on the inside. So you'll know when to do the distributive property when you have parentheses with a variable, a constant, and a number right on the outside. I said we're going to be multiplying. We're going to be multiplying this number on the outside by each term on the inside. So when I do this, I like to make little arcs to remind myself, okay, I'm multiplying 2 times x. So I got 2 times x. And then I'm also going to multiply 2 times 3. So I wrote out 2 times 3. Sometimes when I do this, I go shoo, shoo, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I got this from multiplying 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 3. I wrote 2 times 3. Now I'm going to simplify it a little bit. So 2 times x is just 2x. 2 times 3, I know, is 6. Now this is going to be my answer because, again, remember, you cannot add and subtract unlike terms. So I can't say that that's 8x. I'm done. So let's look at some more examples. Number 1, I'm going to go shoo, shoo. So again, we multiply the number on the outside by each term on the inside. So 2 times x is 2x plus 2 times 4. So I can simplify this. 2x is just 2x plus 2 times 4 is 8. So this is going to be my answer because I cannot simplify it anymore. Number 4, do it again. So shoo, shoo. 4 times x is 4x. Now there's a couple ways to think about this. You can think of this as subtraction, so you can bring down your subtraction if you want. Or I prefer to think of this as 4 times a negative 2. So we're getting in the habit the past few days of when we see subtraction, we know that's also negative. So I know this is 4 times negative 2. So you can write minus 4 times 2, you can write 4 times negative 2, it's the same thing. So I can simplify this a little bit. 4 times 2 is 8. So my answer is 4x minus 8. So if you thought of it as 4 times negative 2, well, 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8. So I wrote negative 8 in my problem. Number 3, shoo, shoo. 6 times y is 6y. 6 times 3. So again, make sure you multiply that number on the outside by everything on the inside. So you get 6y plus 6 times 3 is 18. Done. So your answer should always look like this. You have a term with a variable, and you have a constant. Okay, let's turn to the next page, look at some more examples. Here we're going to get into some more negatives. So we got negative 2 times n, so shoo, shoo. Negative 2 times n is just negative 2n. Then I have a negative 2 times a negative 3, so remember that's negative 3. So negative 2 times negative 3. Simplify it a little bit. Negative 2n. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Remember, negative times a negative is a positive. So this would be our answer because we cannot add and subtract unlike terms. Number 5, my constant that I'm multiplying by, the number on the outside, it's on the other side of the problem. That's okay. If you want to rewrite it like this, that's fine. So whatever you prefer. So if we do this, we can still go shoo, shoo. So 4 times d is 4d. minus 4 times 3. So you get 4d minus 4 times 3 is 12. Done. Now if you were to solve it this way, you still get the same answer. 4 times d is 4d. 4 times a negative 3, if you want to think of it that way. 4 times negative 3, negative 12. Number 6, this time they switched around my variable and my constant. That's okay too. So I'm still going to go negative 5 times 2. Then I have a negative 5 times x. So negative 5 times x. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Now, in algebra, you're going to want to get in the habit of always writing your variable term first. So we can rearrange this. Since this is a negative 5x, write negative 5x. And then I have a negative 10, so write negative 10. Circle it. If you forget that and you accidentally just say that's your answer, I'm not going to count off, but we do want to get in the habit of writing your variable first. 7's getting a little bit different. This time I have a number in front of the term with the variable. That's okay. So we'll still go So 3 times 8x. And then I have 3 times negative 4, or you could just bring down your minus and say 3 times 4. Both ways work. 3 times 8x is 24x, because 3 times 8 is 24. Then a negative 3 times 4 is a negative 12. Number 8, negative 1 times 5. Then I have negative 1 times negative x. So negative 1 times 5 is a negative 5. Negative 1 times negative x, negative times a negative is a positive, so I actually get a positive 1x. Remember though that we don't actually need that 1. So if we wanted to, we could take that 1 out, call it negative 5 plus x. And then also remember we could write it with our variable first, so I could switch around my x and my negative 5. So this is the best answer, but I will still accept these other two if you forget to turn it into the x minus 5. Number 9, this time I have 3 terms in my parentheses. That's okay. I'll just do 3 sets of multiplication. So, So 2 times 3x. Then I have 2 times 4. Then I have 2 times negative 1. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Now don't just leave your answers like this. We've been learning in the past few days that we can simplify this. I can't combine anything with my 6x because there are no other x's, but I do know that 8 minus 2 is 6. So I'm going to put plus 6. And this would be your answer. So make sure you simplify it as much as possible. Some of you might notice that we actually could have done this problem a little bit differently. So I'm going to rewrite this problem down here so we can look at it a little different. Because we can actually simplify the inside of the parentheses before we use the distributive property. I know that 4 minus 1 is 3. So I can simplify this to 2 times 3x plus 3 and then solve it. 2 times 3x, 6x. 2 times 3, 6. So I get the same answer as I did up here. So you can decide if you want to just solve it normal and then simplify at the end, or if you want to simplify at the beginning and then just go ahead and use your property. So again, if you are not sure about how to do these, or if you just want to double check with me that you do understand it, feel free to email me. We will be spending quite a few days on this topic, so don't stress out too much if you don't get it quite yet, because we will end up getting it in the end.